After 29 days, the second season of Celebrity Big Brother has locked its doors with explosions, implosions, and plenty of evictions. Who was crowned the winner? We'll find out soon enough. But first, BB21 is coming. Welcome to the season finale of AfterBuzz TV's Celebrity Big Brother After Show.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
To catch my breath out of that.
I know.
It's a mouthful. I'm glad I did my vocal warm-ups before this. Let me just talk out of my paper here. Good evening, guys. I'm Bryce McLeay, and welcome to the season finale of the Celebrity Big Brother After Show. This is our final show, you guys.
I know.
It's really emotional.
The day before Valentine's Day has me feeling extra emotional.
All the feels,
God.
as the kids say. Hashtag all the feels.
In my feels.
In my feels.
Oh
See,
my God.
Morgan needs to be the one to tell us. All right, you guys. I mean, I don't know. I think we have so much to talk about. So let's get to it.
Talk about.
Let me start off by introducing my loyal panel of house guests, the BB Squad.
You're the best alliance you've ever had in your life.
Yes, of course.
We're the only alliance that survived all season.
That's true. Oh, yeah. And of all the seasons.
True.
Yeah. Maybe not, whatever. Fondue, whatever.
Valentay's still going strong, okay?
Yes, but Morgan, to my left here.
Hello, guys. I am so happy to be back. I had such FOMO. I was watching from my bed, like being a little sickling baby. But I'm fine. I drank some emergency, and I'm good to go. And so excited to talk about this episode. I think this was one of my favorite finales.
Yes.
In a long time. So super excited. And to my left
is me, Jessica Williams, and all I have to say is I am on cloud 9 tonight. It's about to be a lit show because you already know.
Why don't you tell all the listeners what you just did? For the people that can't watch. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I did a cha-cha move.
That's it.
That was restricted because if I could, I would be like Dancing with the Stars, baby.
Tangoing.
It is an exciting night for Celebrity Big Brother, and I am so here for it. Mm-hmm. And who's also here for it is who's over here.
Everybody's favorite homosexual, Charles Conoly, is here, but I don't have any fear of missing out because I was watching every single second of this season, and if I were to miss anything, it would be serious FOMO. But luckily, I didn't.
And please tell our listeners what you're wearing, too.
Oh, hello. I'm wearing like my 5th green shirt in a row. This was not planned until like the last show we did when I realized I'd worn all green this entire season. Some people were saying it was in honor of Tom Green. It really wasn't that deep, but thanks for giving me the credit for doing that.
Charles was green with envy because he didn't win America's favorite player.
I know.
Sorry.
You know what? I'm the Lolo Jones of this season. I come really close, but then I trip on the last hurdle. But yeah, it's like my 8th grade.
Catch
my God,
shade.
there's so many
8th grade
so
shirt.
many layers of that.
It's meta. World peace.
We gotta unpack that.
Okay.
all right.
Maybe you're green with envy because you're not in the house. Maybe this is something that you have to.
Oh my God, you'd be so good on Big Brother.
Would I be?
You'd be first to boot for sure, but you'd be good.
You'd be Jonathan Benedict.
sure.
He's so chill, though. I feel like you would last, but you would give us all of our lives in the diary room.
I think I would be the show's, what's it called? The
class clown?
Commentator. Like the commentator? Like the person
Yeah, kind of like how Ross was
like
for
a narrator.
last season.
Yeah, I'd be that. And then I'd be gone.
Well, you may have your chance. We'll talk about that in a moment.
Julie, please.
Yeah. All right, let's get to this. But first, what would Morgan have done if she were the final... Well, I shouldn't even say this, but if she were the final HOH of the season? We'll find out.
Can I spoil this?
No, you can't.
Not yet.
Later.
We have to
excited.
wait.
Okay.
I even let you ponder it. I've been trying to keep everything a secret from you.
I literally know what I would do, and most times I have to think, but I actually know, so I got excited.
Okay.
But all right, I'll wait.
Most times you have to think.
You guys, who won?
Can we say?
We can say who won. Let's talk about
Actually,
it.
I think you should say it because
Yeah.
you're the most excited.
Yes.
Okay. My girl, Tamar Braxton won Celebrity Big Brother.
Congratulations.
Also, let's note that she is the first African-American winner. She's also the first female to win unanimously. She broke the curse. She is the first to walk through the door
Yes.
first who won the show, because it is a curse technically.
Yes.
So Tamar killed it.
Yes.
She killed it, and not only was she the first to win unanimously, she's the first female, as you said. She's the first celebrity to win unanimously, and she is the second ever to win. So it like doesn't happen since like season 10, and this is like season 23 if you're like counting them all together.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That's
Tamar,
amazing.
she did that,
Yes.
as Tamar would say.
Yeah, and I talked to her sister Trina Braxton on ET Live, and that's what she said. She said the same thing. She was like, we asked her about the curse, and she said Tamar is the exception to the rule, and she was right. So I just want to go over a couple of highlights, and we'll talk about them. These are the kind of things, some of the stuff that I wrote down, and kind of Tamar's road to victory here. So she was the first female to win HOH, ending in the eviction of a major house threat, Kato and Tom. She also won the power of the publicist and didn't even have to use it.
Right.
She won the immunity competition, which was huge in my opinion, because she could have easily been up for eviction in the double eviction, but she was safe the entire time. She also aligned with the most powerful alliance in the house, which was Lolo, Natalie, and Ricky in that little bedroom. And also, I think the biggest game move that she made was she was the entire time trading information with Kandi, her secret alliance member, who was working with the other side of the house after convincing the house that they despised each other.
God
I
bless.
thought that was
And let's just
amazing.
note that most cases when you get that emotional, it does not work out. And the
No.
fact that Tamar could do all that, have her freakouts, have her moments where she did snap on people and was still able to get all the votes, shows a lot of credit on her part, in my opinion. So
Absolutely.
Do you think the presence of Lolo's like craziness helped?
Oh,
that
100%.
a little bit? Yeah, but still, like, oh wow.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I think that it was her recovery, like behind it, because she is super emotional, and I think that when she realizes it, she's able to save it. And I have to say one more time, I am so excited that Tamar won.
Y'all, Jessica's reaction when we were watching the show live.
I wish I could have
thought you were
seen
going to start
it.
crying. So she
Listen,
recorded it. Don't
I
worry.
could not contain myself, and literally Charles and Morgan was sitting next to me, and I was grabbing both of their arms with my
was
fingernails
like-
in it. I was like, oh my God, I'm beating them up. I'm jumping
Yeah.
up silently because we have to be quiet in the studio as we watch, but I was literally losing my mind because Tamar Braxton won Celebrity Big Brother season 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think? What do you think made her finally? Because she did not have the power here. She was not she had no power in terms of coming into this. Ricky had to put all the blood on his hands. Do you think that created a factor for her winning?
I think a lot of what
In
helped,
this last part,
what
yeah.
helped is the way Ricky handled it.
Yeah.
Like, if you do have to send people out and you know that they're about to vote for you, he did it awfully. Like, he could have, said a reason as to why I'm voting to pick you. Like, no hard feelings. Like, you played the game great. Like,
Buttered
he
him up
literally
a
was just
little
like,
bit.
okay,
Kandi, I
Kandi,
evicted.
done. Dina, done. I was just like,
cutthroat.
I get it, he was to the point, but I think he really dug himself a grave with that one.
Yeah.
And supposedly he was like really nasty on the live feeds, like, which I did not, they did not edit that in the episodes whatsoever. When I was talking to my sister and I was like, like, he's okay. And she was like, no, he's awful on the feeds. Like, he is
Really?
not a good person on
Oh,
these
wow.
feeds. So, very
Guys-
interesting take on Ricky.
Guys in the chat, tell us if that. Tell us what.
Yeah,
what's,
tell us
what's
if that's
going
true.
on.
If
Tell
not,
us if
my
that's true.
sister.
No,
Everyone
she's
is like,
probably
well, that's
right.
something, honestly, that Joseph Bozo had been talking about this whole season, about how there's two different sides to it. Like, there's the side that the
Produced
live
side.
viewers and the After Dark people
Absolutely.
see, and then there's also the side that's produced. But I need our counterparts. I need to get this reaction close up.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this live feed, and we got to get
And-
these close up shots because we were excited that Tamar
The
won.
Tamar won,
okay?
and I
Gotta
hold
get
to.
this.
Can we put it on the monitor
We
here?
got to put this reaction into place.
And I
Come
hold
on.
to my
How many
idea. I was
times?
talking to y'all before the show that I don't think Ricky anticipated
The
himself
chat room. We can put
to,
the chat room up there.
to
Sorry.
go this far into the game. I think that maybe Ricky isn't a great guy or a great game player, and I think that revealed itself at the very end whenever he made bad game moves at the very end, when really the game was in his hands. And if he was a good player, he would have known how to play the most obvious cards going into the finale. But he didn't. But Tamar totally deserved to win. She placed herself in the best position throughout the entire season. She had the Kandi factor, which I think was, honestly, I think the biggest plus in her game was having Kandi and
Absolutely.
developing that relationship with Kandi, because Kandi is very convincing, and Kandi was in Tom's ear, Kandi was in Ricky's ear, Kandi was in everywhere. you know.
Well, yeah, and I think that a lot of people, producers probably included on the show, were excited to see a Kandi Tamar brawl happening because they knew they had beef. Obviously, I mean, they didn't just pick these people out of nowhere. They knew what was going on, and they probably were like, okay, this is going to make fireworks, explosive TV. And the fact that it was flipped the opposite direction is like, you know, feminism, Me Too, 2019. Like, it's amazing that they weren't at each other's throats in this day and age. They actually found a way to come together and use that sort of animosity, frenemy-ship to their advantage. And I really feel like as the season went on, and the, you know, even the first time when they had their big you know, brawl or whatever, and then who was it first? Tamar, who was on the block first? And did Kandi not vote for Tamar, or did Tamar vote?
I think Kandi was on the block first.
Yeah, I think Kandi was.
Kandi was on the block before they even had beef. She was on the block first.
But they never
like, the very first
voted
time.
against
They
one
never
another.
voted against
Yeah.
each other, and I thought that was so interesting. I still think that to this day is so interesting. And you know, the fact that that's what you have to do in Big Brother. I mean, you need that other side of the house, regardless of the game, regardless whichever game you're playing. If you are strategic enough to find somebody that you trust that's working with the other side, that's feeding you information back and forth, that
can get you
some of the
so
best.
far.
That's some of the best scenarios
That
you can
is,
get
it's
into.
just the best example of playing the game and taking your emotions out. They could have easily been like, I'm not going to talk to you, which I feel like a lot of like Big Brother All-Stars, if they do come back and they have beef, or even people who have beef in the house when they go in there, they never work it out and like take away the emotional part. And that's what ruins your game. Instead, like, this is a prime example that if you can work together, it works out for you in the end.
Yeah.
And I think the jury appreciated that fact.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Like, I think they really gave Tamar credit for working with Kandi, because obviously we decided this was a pretty emotional jury.
And looking at the jury, I think you're so right. I think that they viewed Candy's emotional response to rekindling things with Tamar and developing a relationship with Tamar. They saw the human side of Tamar, and I think that helped a lot. And this Kandi-Tamar dynamic was my favorite part of the entire finale. Like,
Right.
seeing Kandi
Absolutely.
spill her guts to Julie, and heart-melting moment is when Kandi looked at Tamar and said, "I'm glad one of us made it," and put the key in the thing.
Yeah.
That
I
was
love
like-
that.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in a Valentine's Day card, y'all. I'm
No.
glad one of us
Hershey
made it.
kisses, yeah.
Yeah. No,
Hershey kiss.
I totally agree, because I don't know, it's just been really special this season. It's been different from every other season, and perhaps because I came into the season being a Tamar fan, a Kandi fan. I know their dynamics and personality from the jump, and seeing their relationship evolve in a way that it could have gone bad. Let's be clear. Their feud could have blown up in a way where they could have actually turned on each other and been enemies from the beginning, number one. Number two, it could have blown up to the fact that other people would be so annoyed with the feud that they wanted to get them both out.
Yeah.
So I love how quickly they evolved, and they said, you know what, we have to have each other's back. We need to do this together. And I think that it was genuine. I don't think it was for the cameras. Their feud wasn't for the cameras. Their beef happened years before. And I think that their makeup was just genuine. It wasn't forced. And that's the way, if anything, they both walked away as winners because they have a new relationship. As many. Tom has Kato. Ryan has Jonathan and Joey. Like, there are beautiful relationships that came out of this. So
That's such
it's
a
special.
great point.
And
Yeah.
Dina has no one.
Well, Dina even has
Dina has a
Kandi.
boyfriend of 5 years.
Oh, and Dina's going on Catfish. I hope everyone knows this.
Neve Schulman was tweeting about it.
Yes,
Neve
he looked up
Schulman-
the guy. I don't know what he
Allegedly
said.
speculative. Nothing's
Neve
confirmed.
Schulman
Believe me, I have
said-
the.
Well,
I thought he did confirm that he found the
No,
guy.
I mean nothing has been confirmed in terms of what is happening like with them. There's no one has confirmed that this is the guy
God.
that it is, because
So excited.
This guy also, Michael Lohan also said, let's really get into this Catfish
Please,
after
because,
show.
yeah, where is Michael?
Michael Lohan got into this by saying that he talked to this guy named I don't know,
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. It was
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Oh my
Jared
God.
from Subway, actually. No, I don't know, something with a J. And he said that he talked to the guy for over an hour, and he seems like a really nice guy. This is all Michael Lohan talking, and that he was that if Dina makes him happy or he makes Dina happy, then I'm happy for them. But none of this has been confirmed. Dina has never seen him. Michael Lohan has never seen him. They connected on Facebook. And Nev Schulman, is that his name?
Neve Schulman.
Neve Schulman?
Yes.
Has never seen him either. So we don't know that this is the guy that they're talking about. This is just speculation.
Wow,
It's
I wonder when
through
the
a source.
episode's going to be.
I know.
Well,
Oh, conspiracy theory. It is Michael Lohan the entire time.
That would be so
that'd be
disgusting.
good.
It's Lindsay.
But like in true Lohan spirit, though, they're securing their
Right?
No.
reality
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, they're
you better line
booking,
it
they're,
up.
booking, they're
Smart.
booking their gigs. Oh
Yeah.
wait, there we go. That's what I wanted to get on camera.
Yeah.
Well, let me go back to Kandi really quickly because I think that let's talk about these evictions because 4 people had to go basically, and so we saw first Kandi get evicted, which by the way that was the best move that Ricky could make. I mean he had to get somebody out. Kandi could have won that final HOH, and then he would have been really screwed.
Absolutely.
And
She would have gone to the end. She would have won, in my
that's what
opinion.
I'm saying. So he
Yeah.
had to get rid of her, even though I didn't want to see her go. And it, like Charles said, it was so emotional and really heartfelt. And I really felt bad for her because I really thought that she did play a good game. You know,
Yeah.
she sort of floated at the
right
beginning.
time.
But yeah, she went from alliance to alliances. She knew how to pivot. She was trying, I mean, what did you think of Kandi?
Well, she was very much the underdog of this season. She said she was on the block 4 times. And had she gotten to the end, I'm sorry, those people would have been crazy not to vote for her.
I
For you to
agree.
survive that many evictions, being on the block, and to not get voted as the winner is just insane to me. So I think she did great this season. I don't want to compare her game to mine because whatever, they're separate games, but I do see a little bit of the similarities, which often people say the same thing about me, like, oh, you didn't do enough, you didn't make enough big moves. But when you look at the winners of Big Brother, it's a common theme that you can't make these big moves in the beginning of the game because then you get targeted. So I think Kandi was so smart for doing it the way she did it. And I think she was strategic, but it was all just behind the scenes, which is, in my opinion, very smart.
For sure.
Yeah, that's a really good point that you make because it's such a strong balance between being a good competitor, but competing when it matters, but then also having a really good social game and knowing when to insert yourself. Because we see people so often that play too hard from the beginning, i.e. Shannon last year,
She's called
i.e.
responsibilities.
Tyler, even though he made it right.
not
Exactly.
forget.
Never forget that.
Tyler played hard. He lasted longer than
6 months
expected.
before Rockstar's daughter's birthday. by the way.
Right.
My birthday.
And I just feel that Kandi, at first, I was like, oh, she's just there. Like I was. That was my first impression. But then learning more about her strategy as it was revealed in the diary room, she was actively listening. She was actively trying to figure out. I thought that some of her gameplay was not as smooth as it could have because she would walk into a room and be like, so who are you voting for? Or who are you going to put up? And people were like, whoa, like finesse it a little bit, like warm me up before you make the play. And she didn't. She just went straight for it. So I'm glad that she learned the game a little bit more towards the end and truly showed that she was meant to be.
Yeah. I think that she waited until she saw which players were willing to make the big moves, which players were going to pull the strings. She waited to see that Tom was the person who was going to be doing that. Yeah. Maybe Ricky was doing it from the behind the scenes. And then she kind of crept in and influenced those players and decided to be the little birdie who gives them pieces of information. I think that there was a pivotal point in this season that I remember. It was when Kandi was sitting in the kitchen, like eating a bowl of cereal, and Tom was in the kitchen too. And something like switched in Kandi, and she like asked Tom, I think that she was on the block.
I remember that.
She asked him something about the game, and I was like, oh, she's really starting to play now.
Well, that's
like,
when she was like, am I going? She was like very, like,
Yeah,
am I
up
going
front.
home? Like,
That's
she
when Tom was very wishy-washy. And
Yeah.
Well, that was a
been
problem
more
this whole
upfront.
season, in my opinion. I really didn't like how everyone was so transparent. I don't know if it was lack of knowing the game, but it was just like, come on, have some tact here. You know, I mean, I really thought, we talked about this last time. I told them in the last episode that, it's hard for me to, because of the fact that like I always thought like, wouldn't it be great if all these people who didn't know how to play the game, because when you have a house full of super fans, it's so annoying because everyone like knows exactly what they're doing, or like thinking that they do, and now I'm seeing that I'm like, I don't like this either.
No.
Like,
You need a happy medium.
You need a happy
You need a
medium.
balance.
I agree.
Too many rookie mistakes.
Sheena asked us Sheena123 asked us a quick question for the panel: rank Tamar among the BBUS winners.
BBUS winners.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
I don't know
20 people.
I don't know if I
Break her on 20
can
people.
because we have to remember this is 3 weeks. A whole
Yeah.
season of Big Brother
months.
is 3 months. I think it's very different. I don't think you can compare winners because they're different games.
Who do you
Just
thi-
like what?
Well, who do you think played a better game, her or Marissa? From last season.
Oh, that's easy. For me, at least. I think that Tamar played a better game as far as strategy and being more involved. I think Marissa played a very laid-back game and then kind of slid in towards the end. She played an amazing social game, but not competitor game. And I think Tamar had a really good balance. And Tamar had a lot of things that she had to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there were flaws, if you will, within her, the way she approaches and handles situations that she had to overcome. Marissa was just a happy-go-lucky, like people may have been annoyed from her extraness, but I don't think that she played a stronger game.
Tamar Braxton's publicist, everybody. Just
I know.
No,
I'm just saying. I'm speaking it. I've watched all 20 seasons of this show.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that Tamar did play a better game, for sure. And that is a good question, though, comparing like Tamar and these celebrities with other seasons of Big Brother. It is such a different type of situation, though. But we always appreciate your feedback. We always appreciate you engaging with us, which is what makes this panel so great, which is what makes AfterBuzz so great. So before we move on to the next topic, I want to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. Thank you for engaging with us, asking us great questions. But before we take it away and continue going, make sure you subscribe on YouTube, give us a rating on iTunes, and leave us that golden comment because, as you just saw, we could address it here on the panel. So being a part of AfterBuzz TV means a lot to me. I say it every week. Not only do I get to wear green every week, but I get to talk about my favorite shows, and I get to talk to y'all, and that makes me feel really good, y'all. Especially on the day before the saddest day of the year for me, Valentine's Day.
Charles, there's still time to turn this around.
There is time to
my
turn this
face
around.
here. Hang on.
There is time to turn this around. So if you would like to take me on a date, I encourage you to ask me in the live chat, which Jessica is monitoring. I am willing and able.
And I will be sure not to tell him.
I have all 4 limbs, and only one of them is wooden. So thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting us and letting us do what we love here on AfterBuzz TV. Thanks.
Yes. Well, okay. So I actually think that Marissa and Tamar are comparable in certain aspects. Like, I think that after speaking, I felt the same way that you did, but then after speaking with Marissa,
I was about to bring that up
realized
too.
How much she actually did, and and then looking back and seeing, even I was looking through my old notes trying to figure out how I did it last year when, like, her road to victory sort of thing, like what she did, and she really made a lot of different moves, but they were both kind of in the sense, like, Tamar painted this, like, again, I'll keep saying it until I die, the false target thing where she's like goes up and but no, everyone's like, oh, Tamar's just going off again. Like, no one was like no one was like threatened by it or thought she was like a really that aggressive. It was just like her being her.
They viewed it as
and
her
I think
being
Marissa, her
distractible.
kind of like little, like, blah, blah, that stuff was her, that was her Tamar thing, that was her.
They viewed it as them being distractible and their head not being in the game.
Perhaps if Marissa would have won anything.
She did. She beat what's her face? Omarosa. She beat her in an HOH.
Yeah, I know she did. She didn't win as much as Tamar, and I will
Tamar
agree though.
won
When
more.
Marissa came on our very first previous show, she stayed after and she dug into her strategy, and I had no idea how detailed it was. Like, my jaw hit the floor. Like, she brought a hat specifically knowing, saying that it was her son's hat, but she knew it would pull on everyone's heartstrings. So she made every single person in this house wear the hat. So they would think of her son at the end, and that was all strategy. It was not her son's hat. So
and her son's hat said her his name, and she's like, that wasn't his hat. It didn't matter. But the one thing that also
such small
details.
details.
The thing that killed me was that, and this is what Tamar did such a beautiful job with in her exit speech, was first of all, her final speech was, and that questioning was some of the best answers speech.
Oh, yeah.
Ever, I since I've been watching Big Brother, that is up there with one of the top speeches, one of the best. She complimented the other people's games, especially the people that she did not get along with. That is unbelievable. She owned her crap. She was like, I was too emotional. I shouldn't have done this. I mean, immediately you are then diffused.
And sorry, keep going.
But no, the last thing I'll say is that what Marissa did is that she knew that all these people, and I had not even thought of this, that she knew all of these people were going home and watching the episodes.
Right.
Whereas Ross would go into the diary room and be like, I just got this person out, I got this person out, blah, blah, blah. She was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have to send send them home. This is so bad. Like it was so much more empathetic, and I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing you had to do.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't understand that until you hear it from her mouth, because it's not like she's gonna then be in the episode and be like, okay, so I'm saying this, so the people at home are watching it. So you just never know.
But
so it's very interesting.
Yeah, you're right. Whenever Tamar was talking about that, before the interrogations even started from the previous house guests, I was like, Tamar has the opportunity to convince at least 3 people on this panel. Like, she can, or the house guest, she could definitely convince Jonathan. I don't think Jonathan had an idea really either way what he was going to do. And she can convince Joey and Ryan too.
Yeah, and it was so smart because
Ryan, I think, is so impressionable.
To be honest, Tamar was responsible and had a really big hand in a lot of them leaving that were sitting there.
Right.
You know, and so, and the fact that they could go back and watch the episodes, and that to me showed how she knew how to, or honestly, it wasn't even an act. Like, I felt like her speech at the end was one of the most genuine speeches, because I felt like she spoke from the heart, and she was literally like, hey, I did this, I did that, and she never... The most impressive thing is that she didn't bring attention to the things that she actually did to people. She wasn't like, oh yeah, I should win because I was responsible for getting you out because of this. I work with them. I actually was behind the scenes convincing. And some people sometimes get too much in their ego of how they play the game or how they perceive themselves playing the game, to where it turns off the jury members. And so in this case, I thought that she had a really strong balance of saying like, hey, am I perfect? No. I'm playing this game with my heart, for my son, for my family, and I enjoy it. So I think that her answers were really good. And Ricky, surprisingly,
his answers were so bad.
Yeah, they were not. Was not executed at all. And he had, like I said, he had all the power. He could have used that to his advantage. I just won the last 2 HOHs. I wanted to win this game. Even if that would have convinced me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
His answers were... I'm just so disappointed. And he could have easily won that game by taking Dina. I'm sorry. Hands down, he made so many mistakes tonight. I was honestly shocked because before this, we were saying he was such a good player and he was working undercover.
Well, I agree.
And now I'm like, do I take back everything I said?
This made me take it all back because he had the most obvious path in front of him and he went the opposite direction. And I think that he didn't expect to be in the final. He didn't know really how to play.
Well, that's honestly the difference between someone who knows the game and is a super fan than someone who came in as a competitor and thinks that they have some type of psyche to it. Like, oh, I get how this game works. Okay, I just add a little feud there, light a little fire there. But it is from beginning to end. So you do have to know how the voting works at the end. You do have to know how to communicate and who to choose. And that's where he lacked because he fell apart at the end, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you know it's funny that these people are finally, the people that are out in the jury are kind of finally seeing the game for clearly how it is. Like they have some clarity because they've been out. I mean, not the last 3 people, but they've been outside the house. They've been able to watch the episodes. They see things a lot clearer, and you saw it with people like Ryan and I believe Joey. Both said that Tamar was running that house, which as a viewer, I was like, really? I mean, not that I was just like, it was so
You're saying
much,
on their exit interview or when you talked to them?
No, not on the, after, but like they had done exit interviews, not with me, but like they had done, I'd seen other ones where they were like, Tamar's the one that's running this house.
Before they saw the show.
No, after.
Oh, after.
Yeah.
Okay, and the reason that I wanted strong clarity is because Joseph brought up a really good question for the panel, which says, would Tamar have won if the jury was sequestered? And that's a really good question because he felt like that Tamar didn't win for her gameplay for some reason, but because of the bitterness towards Ricky. But I don't, just to answer this first, people's bitterness towards Ricky was because of how they felt when they were in the house.
Right.
I don't think anything prompted them to be against him upon leaving. And the opposite side, people thought a way about Tamar in the house, but I do think that her footage helped her, but it also was consistent to how she was in the house. I don't think there was no epiphanies when people went back and watched it.
Yeah.
So I think that she still would have won even if the jury was sequestered.
I think so too. And earlier I was like, oh, she could have convinced 3 people in those answers, but I kind of disregarded the fact that they had seen the episodes, like Jonathan and Ryan. So, but even still, like, I think that she still could have convinced 3 people. It just wasn't the original 3 that I said.
True.
No, I 100% agree. And I think, like with Tamar, and even if they were sequestered, like I think her speech alone versus Ricky's tonight sealed fate,
Blew it out of
regardless.
water.
So
It was
whether they
unanimous.
saw it or not, I think
Unanimous
that
vote.
was why it was unanimous tonight.
Well, I have a question for you
Yeah.
guys. So I want to get to this, but we saw obviously Tom vote for Tamar, which I thought was very interesting because they did not have the best exit. But Tom also won America's favorite player. So I wanted to know Morgan, how did you feel about that? Were you
I
excited?
love Tom Green. I think he is hysterical. If I did vote, which I forgot to, I would have voted for Tom Green. Also, I don't know. His parents were running his Instagram, and that alone.
Really?
Wow.
His
God,
parents
what?
were running his social
He's
media.
kinda up
Oh
there.
my God.
He's partially up there.
While he
age.
was in the
That's
house, and it
interesting.
was the funniest thing. So everyone go creep on his Instagram. I was so happy. I think Tom is a genuine person. I do think he got kind of the short end of the stick this season. I think there was no reason for people to blow up on him. He was simply just trying to play the game, in my opinion.
Yeah. I liked him too. I didn't like him at the beginning, but I liked him eventually because he was like one of the only ones playing the game, and I like whenever I see that, like whenever I see the game being played. But yeah, I am not so surprised that he voted for Tamar. I think that he felt a little bit bitter toward Ricky whenever they were both in the house together because he maybe viewed that Ricky was taking a back seat and kind of
Right.
coasting his way to the final. He didn't like that. And I think he knows the game, I think, more than most of these people. That's why I voted for Tamar, because she played it.
Yeah, I honestly, thank the Lord. I can appreciate that people like voted right and not off of.
Can you imagine what Jessica would be like on this panel if Tamar had lost?
Oh my God!
She
I
would
don't
be,
want to
she would be
imagine.
like gray, like this yellow shirt would
I don't
have
think
lost
you
all
could
its
talk.
color.
I really
Well,
don't
I'll
think you
say
could.
this.
Thou
I'll say
silence.
this. I honestly, I had already accepted the fact that perhaps she was not going to be chosen by Ricky.
final
I had to cut my losses when she lost the HOH because I'm like, she didn't hear the question.
Yeah.
It was how many hours, not how many days. It was how many hours
Oh,
in between.
that's how
That-
she did mess
so
up.
that part, I was like, no. So I had to get over it real quick.
Your reaction was huge whenever you found out she was in the final.
Listen.
too.
I can't. The amount of love and support that I have for Tamar Braxton is real, and I just
true.
can't. I'm just so happy that she won Celebrity Big Brother season 2. In case you missed it, but I want to say this. I agree with you on the fact that, or you, both of you, Tom did grow on me after a while. I don't agree that I felt that he was really paranoid and kind of crazy.
He was paranoid.
So I kind of want to know a little bit more about why you're saying that he.
Okay, I do
was blown up
agree
on, okay.
that. I think the whole when Tamar was like, "You're a bully" for all that, like when he
Okay.
was just that's what I was kind of
Okay.
referring to. It's like
Yeah.
I don't think he was trying to bully. Do I think he made a mistake of saying that? Yes, but that is gameplay. You do have to talk through scenarios in Big Brother and say, well, maybe this, and that was, in my opinion, what he was saying. Like, that was best for his game. It might not have been best for
Right.
Kandi's, so she got mad, which I agree, but you have to play for yourself in Big Brother. So I just
That's
didn't
true.
agree with, like, the whole, you're a bully for
Yeah.
trying to get me out.
Yeah.
That's where I was like, I felt kind of bad
and
for
the-
Tom in that.
I agree because I didn't like the word threaten.
Right,
like you
'cause
were
I don't think he
threatening
was
Kandi. I don't think that he
threatening.
was. But one thing I'll say, because of Tom and Tamar are the super fans of this season, and so I like them both for that, and I love that. Poor Jonathan,
well,
who left
he-
the first season.
he was outta
But
here.
I really do feel that they use that as a strength. And for anyone watching or those who want to get on Big Brother, be a fan. Watch the show because that will benefit you. So it's nice to see when people who watch the show win.
Absolutely.
Be a fan, but don't play too hard. Don't let people know you're
Yes.
fans.
Yeah.
Don't start
Yes.
playing
Don't
the
be
first week.
Shannon.
Don't play.
Don't be Lolo.
Well, I think also Tom, just, like you guys, I'm echoing what you guys said. I mean, paranoia runs rampant in that house, and it got the very best of Tom Green. And I think that out of anybody, he just, I don't, for whatever reason, the no sunlight and whatever, no alcohol.
I think
don't
it was
know.
getting to him.
I think
it was really
it
getting to him.
absolutely was. I mean, that was he fueled every single decision on paranoia. I mean, he was so obsessed with sussing out the power of the publicist. I think that was his total downfall because it flipped his entire alliance
You're right.
against him. And
you're right.
it didn't
Ricky off the
matter. It
block.
didn't matter
Right.
who had the power of the publicist. It really didn't at
Yeah.
the time, and he just couldn't see that because he was so in his head. But really quickly, we have to wrap up a little bit soon. So I want to know what you guys thought about Dina and Lolo's evictions really quickly.
Okay, can I start?
Yes.
Jesus.
Dina won me over after she was evicted from the house because, I mean, at that point, I didn't like seeing her in the house, but after Lolo's, like, very bitter reaction to being evicted, which, okay, let me start with Lolo and then I'll go to Dina. I understand Lolo's reaction. She was so angry with being evicted because Lolo, I think, is a really fierce competitor and takes everything really personal and is very controlling. So what got her to the Olympics is the same thing that got her real heated on that chair. She hates to lose more than she loves to win. And that came across really wrong sitting across from Julie. I don't think that was very likable of Lolo to do.
Really good point.
But, I mean, that's who she is as a person. Like, you can't fake that. And then to see Dina on the very opposite end of the spectrum, this doesn't mean anything to Dina. I thought that was a great double eviction, a great two people.
Juxtaposition.
For two people to be sitting next to each other. It made Lolo look even more bitter. It made Dina look even more charming. I loved it.
Whew, I'm about to be real shady for a second. What got Lolo to the Olympics is the same thing that what got Lolo onto Celebrity Big Brother. And the reason that Lolo didn't win the Olympics is the same reason why she did not win Celebrity Big Brother. It's because she pushed and played too hard, and when it got to the last run, she fumbled. You know what I'm saying? So, Lord, if she's watching, I'm probably gonna have a voodoo doll because this girl is crazy. I think that she was very bitter, very over the top. I was so disappointed in her reaction. She took it personal. She was cussing out Ricky, which is why they had to bleep and go to like.
She was saying that's messed up. Yeah.
She looked so pissed to Julie. She voted pissed. I'm just like, this is a game, girl. As a game player, as someone who competes, I am now wondering, like, I wonder how it is, like, being on a team with her, losing against her, winning against her. Like, to me, I'm like, this isn't someone that I would want in my... It's just negative energy, and I just wanted her to strive and just be better. I wanted her to be better, and I was just disappointed with her.
Yeah, well, I mean, Lola's gonna look at this in 10 years and realize how foolish she looks, honestly. And I think it's okay to be upset. It's okay for a few minutes to be like, Julie, this sucks, like, whatever. But the fact that she was still frowning when Tamar won, and like Dina's in the back smiling all happy, and Lolo's face is still just bitter. I think that is such a bad look. Also, Dina Lohan is me in 40 years. Like 1,000%. I made that observation.
You're not gonna know what's happening.
100%. I'm gonna be in a sparkly dress, being like, "Where am I?"
Me too, girl.
All right, Morgan. So real quickly, if you were, so we're gonna play. What would Morgan do? Very quickly. What would you do? If you were Ricky, if you were the final HOH, who would you have gone? Who would you have taken?
Well, I would take absolutely zero chances. I would go with the easy target. I would go with Dina. I think she's the obvious choice. I think that's the reason she was there at the end, because everyone was supposed to take her to the final.
I thought they were taking her that far. Like, if you're going to take her that far, why not take her
Why
that
not
far?
just take her to the end? It makes no sense to me. I think that was his mistake in the game right there, was not taking Dina.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I do have, because it's our last episode, I have to shout out. We have so many people and new people, usernames that I have not seen. Starting off, Austin King says that he hasn't seen the finale yet, but he wanted to say, shut up, that Morgan, you were great on tonight's episode of The Challenge. Yay! All right. Crossover.
Yeah, we'll put that on my, I'll put that on my TiVo.
Sheena 123 says,
TiVo.
wow, you really,
2007.
I have TiVo.
That's
You're welcome.
the original.
You're welcome, you
You
guys.
took me back.
You're welcome, you guys.
Yeah, Bryce, Sheena123 says, Bryce looking sharp and handsome tonight.
wow. Thank
Love
you.
the outfit. Yes, he came to slay on the finale episode.
Slay.
Hilu, okay, I'm not going to try. I'm not going to embarrass myself. But anyway, says that, can you guys talk about Jonathan's last word, because he said that he was going to vote for the person who had his back the entire game, and
as much as
they could, and I was like, wow, that's really sweet, and that goes to the fact that because he was able to go back and watch it, he did see that Tamar was between a rock and a hard place, because she wanted to be true to that alliance, but his actions on keeping Dina made them all worry. So I think that was really nice. That I'm proud of Jonathan for being mature enough to recognize that he had some flaws within his gameplay, and his team members had no choice but to get him out the house.
Yeah. And he knew when it came down to brass tacks, Tamar would have been the one loyal.
Yeah.
As opposed to Ricky.
What about you? You're friends with Jonathan. What do you think he was thinking?
I think exactly what you guys said. I think he appreciates that, and I think that's just shows like how much it changes watching the show back. I think had he been sequestered, it might have been a little bit different, but he had all this time to go back and to watch the live feeds and to read, I'm sure, Reddit. Like, I'm in a group text with Jonathan randomly still. So, like, trust me, like, he
Thanks
he
for
reads
coming
everything.
on, Jonathan, by the way.
Yeah, Jonathan, you didn't answer my last 2 texts, but you're very active in that group text. Okay. Shady Boots.
All right, you guys, we do have a really quick piece of news before we go.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, we said BB21 is coming. Casting is nearly underway. It is coming next week. The first Big Brother open call audition events are around the country. They will start in Studio City, which is in our backyard.
There's one at Jalapeno Pete's.
Yeah, are you going to be there?
I was invited to it. I'm still
maybe,
debating.
Maybe,
I wanna
maybe you'll
go.
see Morgan there.
Yeah, you might see me there.
Why don't we all just go?
Yeah.
There we can have drinks.
Finally, we're gonna go
All
have
right.
drinks.
Oh my god, that'd be perfect.
Hashtag BB Squad.
There you go. And I mean, I think that both of you guys should audition.
I'd love to. When's the date and time?
I'll get it to you. I have to find it in my. I have to find it in my BlackBerry.
Okay.
All right. So
respond?
Studio City. This is just next week. Studio City, Nashville, New York, Houston, Scottsdale, and Cleveland. Online applications are open and available. If you can make it to any of the events below, you do not need to go to both. You can either fill out an application or you can go to one of these events. Please go. It would be.
I would highly recommend
I
going
would
in
highly
person.
recommend just going if you're thinking
If
about it. If
you're
you're a fan of the
local.
show, if you like it, definitely attend one of these open calls. And the deadline for your Big Brother application is April 5th. Just so you know, everybody.
Yes.
That's next month.
I know, you guys. That's it.
Oh my
I
God,
can't
can we do
believe
final
it.
thoughts?
Yes,
Oh
yeah.
my
Final
God.
thoughts. Final thoughts, you guys. Really quickly on this season.
Final thoughts. I thought it was a great season. I do think it was better than season 1 of Celebrity Big Brother. I think we had more characters, and I'm very, very, very happy with the winner. Congratulations, Tamar. I think it was much deserved.
Yes.
Final thoughts. We had warmth and emotions with Kandi and Tamar. We had good gameplay with Tom and Tamar, and we had a great winner with Tamar. I'm so happy with this season. It was great.
This season was absolutely amazing. I think that they took us on so many roller coaster rides. We were emotionally connected. I think that it expanded to so many more viewers. And I'm so happy that Tamar Braxton won. Congratulations, Tamar. You are the champion. You have beat so many records. And I am just happy to have been on this panel to be able to commentate and to bring in all of our perspectives because this is where it's at.
It is where it's
Yeah.
at.
At the hashtag BB Squad. Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
God.
BB Squad.
What are
You
your
guys,
thoughts,
that
Bryce?
was great.
Wait,
No, I thought
Bryce.
it was a fantastic season. I agree with you. I think it was better than season 1. I'm so over the moon that Tamar Braxton won. I think that she was so deserving. Again, like I said, that final speech and those answers, the answers that she to the questions of the jury were some of the best answers and best speech I have ever seen in Big Brother. I thought she was very deserving, as we mentioned, for all the reasons that she did. So I'm very excited about that.
Yes.
But we want to thank you guys so much for watching us and commenting along with us.
You guys are the
it's-
best.
You know, you're the
Really.
reason why we do this. We're so thankful for AfterBuzz TV for allowing us to come back. This is a crazy, wild experiment. We had multiple shows on multiple days. They didn't have to accommodate us, and they did. And it's all because of you guys. So we really want to thank you and AfterBuzz for letting us cover this. So one final time, let's say our goodbyes. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Bryce Advice. Morgan, take it away.
You can find me on Twitter at Morgan_Willett. Twitter's a toxic place. Send me some love. Also, Instagram at Morgan
Watch
Lee
her on
Willett.
X on the Beach and the challenge.
Guys,
you
it's a
guys.
double whammy.
It's a takeover. Get it, girl. Yes. I'm Jessica Williams, and shout out to Royal15 who said Jessica Williams for a BB21.
Yes, God.
Yes.
Only if it's clean, because I'm OCD. But you can find me on Twitter at Miss Jessica WW and on Instagram. Come on over to Instagram at Miss Jessica Williams MISS.
OCD, I think there's an ointment for that. I'm Charles Conoly. I'm always on Twitter. It is an awful place, which is why I'm always lurking. You can find me at Charles Conoly. Thanks for joining us. See you this summer.
Yes, you guys, and one final time from outside the Big Brother house and inside AfterBuzz TV studios, we are the BB Squad. Good night.
Bye,
Tweet
guys.
us! Tweet us!
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.